Hi children, in previous video which concept you learned from the chapter 10 SSC real numbers, that is how to find HCF of and LCM of two or more given numbers by using prime factorization. Now in this video we will learn our next concept, that is rational number and their decimal expansions. What is our next concept children? Rational numbers and their decimal expansions. Let us see our today's concept. We are well known about rational numbers definition. Once you recall it children, rational numbers are the numbers which can be expressed in the form of p divided by q, where p comma q are integers but q is not equal to 0, is known as rational numbers. Now see rational numbers and the decimal expansions today concept class. Rational numbers and their decimal expansion. Let x is equal to p divided by q is a rational number. If the numerator p is divided by the denominator q, we get decimal form of x p by q. That is rational number. Decimal form of x. If the decimal form of x may or may not be terminating, that is, every rational number can be expressed as either as terminating decimal or non-terminating decimal. Okay, understand children? Rational numbers and their decimal expansion concept is okay children? What once you recall it? Rational numbers and their decimal expansion. Let's take x is equal to p by q is a rational number. If numerator, what is your numerator children? P. What is your denominator children? Q. If the numerator P is divided by the denominator Q, we get the decimal form of x. We get decimal form of which? X. X means what here? Rational number. The decimal form of x, may or may not be terminating. That is, every rational number can be expressed as terminating decimal or as non-terminating decimal. Let us see here two definitions came. One is terminating decimal, another one is non-terminating decimal. What are terminating decimals and what are non-terminating decimals? Terminating decimals means terminating decimal is a set or finite amount of numbers after decimal point given. Understand children? Terminating decimal is a set or finite amount of numbers after decimal point is known as terminating decimal. And next another one, what is still a non-terminating decimal? What are non-terminating decimals? Non-terminating decimal is a set or infinite amount of numbers came after decimal. Understand children? What is non-terminating decimal? Non-terminating decimal is a set or infinite amount of numbers came after decimal is known as non-terminating decimal. Here another important note is there. Non-terminating decimals have two types. Non-terminating decimals have how many types? Two types. Namely, first one is non-terminating repeating or recurring decimal. First one is what children? In types of non-terminating decimals, non-terminating, repeating or recurring decimal. It is said to be non-repeating decimal or non-terminating recurring decimal. Okay children? Another one, second one is non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. Second one is what children? In types of non-terminating decimal, non-terminating, non-recurring decimal. Okay children, don't confuse Non-terminating decimal, how many types? Two types, namely non-terminating repeating decimal. Second one is non-terminating non-repeating decimals. Okay children, let us see what is non-terminating repeating decimal, and also we discussed about the non-terminating non-recurring decimal or repeating decimal. Okay, and finally see here non-terminating decimals also have here one diagrammatically. But let us see first once again terminating decimal. What is terminating decimal children? A terminating decimal has a set or finite amount of numbers after decimal point. Okay children, I already told what is terminating decimal. A terminating decimal is a set or finite amount of numbers after decimal point. It is known as terminating decimal. Let us see one example. I take here rational number 1 by 2. I divide numerator by denominator, that is 1 is divided by 2. Here decimal expansion came 0.5. After decimal point, have numbers finite or infinite? Finitely. So this decimal expansion is said to be terminating decimal. See children, after decimal point, finite number is there. Okay children, finite number means in Telugu పరిమితమైన. In Telugu we say పరిమితమైన, limited. Here one after decimal point we have only one digit. One digit or three digit or four digit after decimal end means it is said to be, after decimal end means the number is said to be terminating decimal. Next concept. What children? Non-terminating decimal. Next type of decimal, non-terminating decimal. I already told the definition. A non-terminating decimal is a set or infinite amount of numbers after decimal point. Okay children, see, a non-terminating decimal has a set or infinite amount of numbers, is known as amount of numbers after decimal point, is known as non-terminating decimal. This non-terminating decimal have how many types? Two types, namely one is what children? Non-terminating repeating decimal. Another one, second one is what children? Non-terminating non-repeating decimal. First one is what children? Non-terminating types. First one is non-terminating repeating decimal. Non-terminating repeating decimal. And second one is non-terminating non-repeating decimal. See here there, and also see the properties here diagrammatically. Non-terminating decimal. Non-terminating decimal having how many types? Two types, namely non-terminating repeating decimal. Okay children, non-terminating repeating decimal. And second one is non-terminating non-repeating decimal. Okay children, here observe non-terminating repeating decimal. This decimal can be expressed as fraction. What decimal children? Non-terminating repeating decimal can be expressed as how? What? Into fraction. Convert to fraction. That means it is said to be rational number. So fraction is said to be, fraction means what? Numerator by denominator. That's why it is said to be, it is means non-terminating repeating decimal. Okay sure, it is said to be rational number. These are the two points belongs to properties of non-terminating repeating decimals. Let's see non-terminating non-repeating decimal. Non-terminating non-repeating decimal. It cannot be expressed as fraction. Which decimal children? Non-terminating non-repeating decimal is cannot be expressed as fraction. That's why This decimal, non-terminating, non-repeating decimal is said to be irrational number. Irrational numbers. Understand, children? Non-repeating decimal, non-terminating, non-repeating decimal cannot be expressed in the form of fraction, and it is said to be rational. Let us see examples also. Here I take in rational number 1 by 3. I divide numerator by denominator. Here decimal came 0, decimal expansion came 0.3333, so on. After decimal point it is non-terminating, but after decimal point non-terminating also, but one digit number only repeated. One digit or two digit or three digit number, whatever may be repeatedly came means it is said to be non-terminating repeating decimal. But you observe here definition, here example, non-terminating non-repeating decimal. I taken 64 divided by 45. I divide numerator by denominator 455. I get decimal expansion 0.14653. Observe carefully here after decimal point repeated numbers came infinitely. Here you observe after decimal point not repeated numbers came infinitely. Understand, children? Difference between non-terminating repeating decimal, non-terminating non-repeating decimal. After decimal point repeatedly came means it is said to be non-terminating repeating decimal. That decimal point also said to be rational number. That decimal is also said to be rational number. But here repeatedly not came after decimal point in non-terminating non-repeating decimals. So that's why it is said to be irrational numbers. When given in decimal form numbers also, how to find it is rational or irrational is very useful to this concept. When I given two decimal expansion forms 2.14545, so on. This is non-terminating, but it is rational or irrational. Asking by question, it is what? Irrational. Why? Because after decimal point here repeatedly not came. Different numbers it came infinitely. But I given another example 2.735, 735. Any rational number when numerator is divided by numerator is divided by denominator, the decimal expansion came. This type is known as irrational. This type is came means it is known as rational. Okay, children. Okay, understand today's concept. This is today's our rationals and the decimal expansion concept. Thank you, and let us. This concept is very important to our next coming theorem 1.3, theorem 1.4, theorem 1.3. Very useful this concept once you recall it. Okay, children. Once again, thank you.